informal presenter. He's presented before. Competent bloke. Have you got a badge yet, Pat?
I haven't got a badge, I've got one.
I know Becky was looking forward to her badge, and she's got it now. So, anyway, please, huge round of applause for Mr. Pat Hadley!
Sorry about the code.
Are you ready, Pat?
Yeah, all right then. Right, I got slightly hijacked by Paul earlier because I want to talk to you about taste. And I want to tell you that good taste, I think, can be considered a craft. It's often considered to be a very subjective thing. Everybody's opinion is as good as anybody else's. But anybody who works with creative stuff very quickly recognises that actually it's their taste, it's their appreciation of quality that leads them to their hunger to produce better stuff. Ira Glass, who's the producer of This American Life, recognised that. Socrates didn't quite see it like that. He pulled up, he said, that if you love a thing, music, art, wine, whatever, you love all of that thing, without any discernment with that. I started thinking about those two quotes. I didn't agree with Socrates at all. I think even the biggest booze hounds have a sense of what's better wine. And I started thinking, how do we develop our taste? How does taste move forward? How do we recognise the greatest productions of human artifice throughout history? And I began to think that your taste develops actually in a very similar way to a craft. Craft we recognise. This is masonry at the Minster. It's something that is involved. You have to be in contact with your material. You have to have a theoretical understanding of your material, and you also have to have a very deep, entangled, practical and reflexive understanding. You have to be attentive to your actions. You have to feed back to yourself constantly. And I began to realise that actually to have good taste is to be an expert consumer. It's not that you're producing materials, it's that you're consuming materials in a way as a craft person. And like any craft, I think I've started to put down some principles for the craft of taste. Firstly, you have to be immersed in whatever it is: swimming, dance, drama, art. You have to have a depth of knowledge of how it works. You have to have a breadth of knowledge of what's going on. You have to understand the modes of production. You have to understand how music is made, how music works. You have to understand the context of production, the history and the biographies of your artists or your potters or what have you. You also have to appreciate how your senses work, how your senses ingest the products, the art, whatever it is that you are engaging with. You have to know how your ears work, how your eyes work, and also separate or be able to have an awareness of your emotional reaction to what you're consuming. If you listen to Pink Floyd off your tit at a festival, it's a very different experience to listening to on headphones on the bus. It's essentially, we would say, packaged as the same project. You also have to reflect on the context of consumption. You have to be able to plug in to the social and cultural context in which you are consuming that thing, and reflect that what you're doing is actually flexible and dynamic. Your taste develops like that rope is woven in interaction between all the elements of the craft. So, to be a snob, whether you're a snob for hip-hop or a snob for opera, is the opposite of good taste, because you are deliberately ignoring a huge amount of work and you are overly reliant on your emotional reaction to one kind. Even with more prosaic stuff, cups, your appreciation for both the function and the formal properties of something as simple as a cup is something that is based on a crafted sense of learning. Architecture is something that, unlike cups, we actually create specialist disciplines for people who have the finest taste, both the critics and the producers. The final thing that you have to do to develop your good taste is to consume stuff that you think is bad. People who don't consume anything that they don't like, they never try anything they don't like, they cannot develop good taste because they cannot understand why they like the things they like. Finally, I want to finish with this amazing quote, I thought, from E.M. Forster, explaining why taste is important to how we become human, and then somebody who didn't listen to anything I just said. And possibly rightly so. Thank you very much.